Hey YouTube, good morning. We're going to go down below the 2001 MPV because last week when I was doing a routine oil change I noticed that one of my motor mounts, or engine mounts, depending on what you want to call them, was pretty worn out looking and time for a replacement. These two bolts right here, they hold the motor mount in place and attach it to the frame of the car. So we've got to get these two plastic shrouds out of the way, right here and here, so we can get to the spot where we can disconnect and unbolt it from the engine itself. So why don't we go ahead and do that. We're going to start out by using a, what is that? That's about a 10 millimeter, I think, to take those bolts off. That'll give us a better view and access to everything. Okay, here we are. We are under the car. There's our mount. You can see that the rubber is all cracked up on it. We're kind of underneath the passenger side of the car right now. So right down here, that's where the two bolts are that hold it to the car. And there's where it bolts to the engine right there. There's actually a bolt around on the back side. That's what we're going to be able to turn. And I'll be using our 17 millimeter socket, both down here and up there. And I'm hoping that that nut that we're looking at is welded onto the engine right there, because that'd make things a lot easier. Otherwise, we're going to have to hold that still on one side while we turn the wrench with the other. So we're going to see how that works out. I'm going to go ahead and pull that bolt from the engine connection first, so it's free, and then come down here and take these two loose. I'm going to give it a little push, and if it doesn't work, I'll spray it with some penetrating oil to try to loosen it up. Looks like we got lucky, because I'm able to turn this without penetrating oil and without a breaker bar, so I'll just kind of keep backing this bolt out, get it out of here, and then we will be able to take the mount loose from underneath. I should point out, from everything that I've read, this is not a load-bearing motor mount. It's merely used for stability. So for that reason, we don't have to support the engine while we take it out. That's important, because in a lot of motor mounts you do have to. Alright, here we were able to get the bolt out. And I've started loosening the bolts that hold it to the car frame, and you can see that it's already shifting a little bit, so I'm going to finish backing these nuts out, and once that's done we should be able to get the mount out of there and put the new one in. Alright, we've had success. The mount is out. This is the driver's side we're looking at right here. Here's the passenger side, and there's a big difference is that this plastic chunk right here, that's actually a catch. So when you're putting the bolt back on, this nut catches against it right here, gives you something to push against when you are when you're bolting it all back together. Here's our replacement, an Anchor 9468. Bought it on rockauto.com. I should mention, this video says it's for the 2001 MPV, but it is this mount is also used on 02 to 06 models. So 2000 to 2001, you've got the 2.5 liter V6 engine. Whereas you have the larger 3.0 liter on the 02 to 06 models. You're going to use the same mount from what I can tell on both. And you can see how over time that is just, it's not completely broken down, but it's not in good shape at all. Well, we're going to tear the plastic off of the new part and just confirm that everything lines up and looks the same. Okay. So as you can see, it looks similar, not exactly the same. as far as like the direction that the rubber on the inside goes, it kind of goes that way here, and then the new one it goes that way. But as long as the hole's the same size and everything is lined up the same, we're going to be fine. On this side you do have this little extra chunk of rubber sticking out here, just like you would expect. What I'm going to do is back these nuts off of here. They actually have lock washers on them, which is interesting because the old ones did not, but I'll take it. So we're going to have to back those off using the ratchet. And once we do that, set it up in place. Make sure we got the bolt that goes through the engine mount and the connection on the engine lined up, and then start driving these two down tight, and that will finish the job out for us. I wanted to take a second to show what the space where the mount sits looks like. This is the frame member that it sits on. There's the two holes that those studs come through. And right here, this is the place where it bolts to the engine. So let's go ahead and put the mount up in here. Doing this one-handed. Set it in. We're going to find those two holes. There we are. And we're going to take a look there and get our hole lined up. There we go. You can see that it's lining up. So the next step will be to stick this big old long bolt through. And that's where I'm going to need both hands. So we'll stop the camera and I'll put this bolt through, and then I'll put the nut in from the other side, and we'll go from there. Alright, now we're back here looking at the passenger side, pushing the bolt through. And I was wrong, by the way. There's actually a metal piece that's attached to the arm that mounts it to the engine. That's what we're going to be pushing against when we put the nut on. So let's go ahead and put that nut on. Oops. And you can see that that has caught now. So we're going to be using the ratchet to bolt it down the rest of the way. Then we'll put those guys on. Our bolt is almost all the way in. Go ahead and put our ratchet on there, and well, maybe we will. Let's just tighten it up a little bit more. This is an extendable ratchet, so I'll go ahead and extend it in a minute. Put a little bit more pressure on it because it took a lot of pressure to break it loose. Once that's done, then our two nuts with lock washers go on. Now, I'll tell you what, this is the kind of job that makes me think it might not be such a bad idea to have one of those creeper boards that has the wheels and everything. Put a lock washer on here, and then kind of hope that it hangs. It's not going to. Yeah. Alright, let's try this. Again, I'm trying to do this one-handed, and it's not easy. There we are. There we go. It's one. And try to get the other one ready here. So these guys are on. We're going to tighten them up now. Alright, we got those bolted down all the way. There's the back side of it, bolted in. And this engine mount job is complete. All we have to do is put our plastic shrouds back up. Let me encourage you, not to be intimidated by an engine mount change, motor mount change. Some of them are easy, some of them are hard. By all means, let the pros do the ones that are difficult. But you can save a pile of money by going ahead and doing one of these guys yourself. I didn't even have to jack the engine up to support it. So don't discount your own ability to change out an engine mount. 3 bolts took us about, 25 minutes, and the job is done. Be careful out there. Be sure to wear your eye protection, and see you next time.